Still waiting. There you go. All right. It's episode 32, right?
I thought it was.
Never remember. It's a lot of episodes. All right, starting work party. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. All right.
32.
All right, guys. Turn the volume off here. And it's going, yes? Because I don't see video. Mark.
Yeah.
It's going, right? Because I don't see video.
Good.
Yes? Okay. Now I see it. All right, guys. Here you go. Lolo's like, what are you doing? Episode, we're going to have to look into it. It's either episode 32 or 33, but you have joined Stormcrow, Dreamers Talking to Dreamers, with my co-host, Mark Potter. And then, of course, my name is JD Glasscock. And then this is the lovely Lola. Look at that cute face. Lola. Interesting story, Mark. I felt bad because I had no money to buy Lola her little non-rawhide shoe bones. And she just loves those. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, I felt bad. And then I dropped my keys down my side of my chair. And I reach my hand down to get them. And I pull out one of those bones. And I'm like, what? And then I just for shits and giggles, I go and check her little bed. And in the crevices, there's two more. Because she's been hiding them everywhere. She was a hey man, she was putting in reserve stock.
She knew it was coming.
She's like reserve stock. I'm putting little goodies away. But anyway, you guys, thank you for joining us. I know it's a tumultuous time for everyone. Big love and blessings from us here. We have an amazing show tonight with some amazing guests. And I just want to thank you. First of all, I want to promote Marty B's restaurant. If you're in Texas, Bartonville area, go check them out. They're still doing to-go food. We're trying to help local businesses, restaurants, as much as we can. They're struggling too. So if you're in the Bartonville area and you love good steak and barbecue, go give a ring up or just drive up there to Marty B's and get some stuff. So anyways, let's get on with our guests. We have some amazing guests tonight. Who do you want to bring on first, Mark?
Let's bring in Ian Lauer. Or Ian Lauer.
Okay, guys. Hey, you say potato, I say potato, tomato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. Hey, you guys, we have an amazing martial artist, actor, tremendous amount of talent. He's always putting up little monologues he's rolling. Let's bring in Ian Lauer. That's the pizzazz moment, Mark, where you actually bring him in.
There we go. Hey, guys.
What's up, Ian? Sorry, man, you're killing me with the Ian thing.
No biggie, no biggie. I'm used to it. That's not the worst thing I've been called today. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. All right, you guys. And then our next guest has been just a legend forever, man. He was one of the co-creators of Chippendales for all you lovely ladies out there who like to go watch men dance. And then he went on from there to be very successful in film financing and producing. He's been around LA all of his life, or California all of his life. And just an amazing guy with decades and decades of experience. Let's bring in Bruce Nahin. We got to work on your delayed reaction, Mark.
It wouldn't do it.
You got to have a little keyboard with all little buttons with big signs on it and say,
Man, you know those things are like $300.
There he is.
Okay. Hey, Bruce.
Hey there.
Okay, so the watch party's up. If you guys want to share, just remember to.
I already did.
Sure, put the sound down to make sure all that. Anyway, you guys, I want to jump in. Also, in the second half, what I'm going to do is I already did mine. I'm going to ask you guys to name a restaurant near you that you love. People could go buy some to-go food and still support, because those restaurants are struggling just like everybody else. So I'll do that in the second half. Anyway, you guys, great to have you here. It's a tumultuous time for a lot of people. It's a stressful time for a lot of people. So it's great to have the show and kind of get off onto other things, especially for people that love film. Let's start off with Bruce. Easy one you can go to with this, but we'll see if you do. What is a past project that you've done that you're really proud of and you thought was amazing?
You know, when I did Cowboys and Aliens, I thought it was going to make money. When I did
With Harrison Ford?
People Like Us, I thought it'd make money. People Like Us was released the same day as the first Avengers movie. So that didn't get anything, but it was a really pretty movie.
I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, it was Kurtzman Orsi.
Yeah, I don't. Cowboys and Aliens I watched. It was okay.
Unbroken was nice. That was fun.
So what did you do on these films?
I did the business side.
The film financing and stuff?
Financing, distribution, talent acquisitions, things.
So you're the one that got Harrison Ford for Cowboys and Aliens?
I'm the one who got Steven Spielberg for $10 million as executive producer.
Very cool.
Good fun.
I always loved Harrison Ford, man. I mean, that's one of my, I grew up on the original Star Wars and all that stuff. So
I've been involved in 300-400 movies. They're all my baby when I'm working on them. It's like an ex-girlfriend. You don't think about them, you think about the next one.
Yeah. What did you say, like an ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, you try not to dwell on the ex-girlfriends. You think about the one you're with.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, granted, I've worked on a lot of films, but the ones I only focus on usually are the ones that are my films, like obviously that I wrote and directed. But very beautiful, man. I would love to have been on the set of Cowboys and Aliens. I don't know why they didn't do better, though. Was it competing with something or just didn't get promoted correctly?
It just didn't catch the wave. You never know sometimes. We thought we had all the pieces.
And you had Daniel Craig in it too, right?
And Steven Spielberg as executive producer. We thought that we'd catch something on that, but we didn't. So,
well, that is a great dichotomy, and it came across, even though it's interesting, the Cowboys and Aliens, it came across as kind of a goof film, and I don't think it was written or produced as a goof film.
Well, whatever it was,
trying to be an action serious film. Huh?
It just didn't catch the wave.
Yeah, I hear you. It wasn't it was a decent film. I mean, it was meant for what it was, which was action.
I've got one out now called Regarding the Case of Joan of Arc, which is a revisit of the Joan of Arc story set in 21st century America with Twitter. And Joan of Arc is really the leader of the alt-right. And that went direct to video because we couldn't get distribution. So you never know how these things work.
Joan of Arc has not done well in films, man. I mean, I'm very familiar with that story. I've read the
biography. Yeah, but we thought that with Twitter and Facebook, and we can reimagine if Joan was here today, and things like federal building blowing up and stuff. And
well, the movie that I'm thinking of is the one with the girl from Resident Evil. I forget her name. Mila Jovovich.
Mila, yeah. That was Messenger.
It was so slow paced. I mean, because I'm a big of that historic character, and so I tried to watch it, but it was so slow.
Well, then maybe you'll be the only person who watches on demand on Spectrum. It's called Regarding the Case of Joan of Arc.
Interesting title.
Well, because it's got courtroom drama, this is modern day. You can't just burn her at the stake.
Very cool. All right, let's go to Ian. Ian,
Yes.
what is a project you've done in the last couple of years that you're very proud of and you thought was amazing and intense and exciting?
I was really blessed for a couple of different projects that came through. I'd like to talk about. One of them is called Enter the Fire, and that was with Lou Ferrigno. He was the main bad guy. And that was my first lead in a martial arts action film. So it's kind of the type of movie I wanted to do since I was 9 years old. And going in, doing my fight choreography, working with some great martial artists and some great actors. That was one that just, you put all that work in, you never know when.
And that's the one that got you on Dale Weston's radar, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. So, and that's something I probably should mention too, is you never know who's watching or who's checking out your social media. I was going through and redoing my card. I have a little card that I send out sometimes, basically electronically. And it's just a headshot or two, a movie poster, and then just from directors I've worked with, what they have to say about having worked with me. And just so happened, I sent it out, and I think Dell was online at the right time. And I had 3 projects in his festival in the same year. I had a feature, I had a webisode, and I had I had a small part in another feature. And it was actually a short I was supposed to have been in that I didn't do. But so anyway, just everything coalesced at the right time, and that's how I got on his radar. Yeah. And then the other project more recently is called The Reliant. And that's a faith-based film. And we shot that in my hometown in Ohio. And they had Kevin Sorbo, and you remember Brian Bosworth from
Yes.
Oklahoma?
Yeah, I know both of them, Hercules and football player.
Yeah. So they were 2 of the big guys in that, and I got to be in Enter the Fire. I was, the troubled guy that's turned it around, and then in The Reliant, I was the guy that will never turn it around. I'm just
So very cool, and I can imagine. Personally, acting is not really my shtick, but I can imagine that also if you're a martial artist, that doing that kind of movie would be really fun. I mean, most of my features that we're going to be working on are action, so I'm very much into the action genre and fighting and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of people don't understand how literally choreographed and how much it takes to shoot a fight scene.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. And this is one of the things I was actually talking with someone earlier today about martial arts on film, and it's hard to find really good martial artists that are really good actors. And I think part of it is, as martial artists, you train to hold things in, to control yourself, and as actors, you just have to let it go. It's just about letting whatever is going to come out. So they're just fighting each other, the martial artist versus the actor. And then when you're in a fight scene, it's even worse because you're trying to let go of all that emotion. Just let everything.
Oh, come on. Are you saying all the acting in those old kung fu theater movies?
It's my favorite. Don't get me wrong.
What if I don't?
What I'm saying is it's harder than people think because you have to have perfect control in all your choreography because you can't hurt your partner. But at the same time, the acting has to look as if it's completely letting go. So it's a very
and it also has to the fighting. There's nothing I hate more in a film than looking at fighting that doesn't look real.
Yeah.
Like when you sometimes I've seen, especially in smaller projects, where not have. To me, I always tell young filmmakers the first rule: don't break your world. Do not break your world. The audience. Do not break the creation you created.
Sure.
That take them out of immersion.
And that's Santa Clarita, and just a good dude. And we crossed paths, and punches. And the reason is, if it's a martial arts movie, if it's a web series or a short or whatever, and even a feature, if you only have a couple small skirmishes, like you said, you don't want to take them out of the world. So it doesn't have to be some crazy elaborate fight scene with all sorts of jumps and spins.
Well, and you can cheat with the camera on some of it, but
sure. But also just the basic understanding of, when that punch comes through, how you sell it, and just basic movement. So if it's a couple punches, as long as they look real, you don't get the audience. The audience isn't removed from.
Example is I knew this guy. We have talked for hours. One Vimeo link to his film, and it was right up my alley. It was about Richard the Lionhearted, and so I love that. And literally, the first 5 minutes of the entire film is someone who's playing the, I think, Queen of England, or playing her as she's this debaucherous woman who's getting it with one of her pages or something like that.
Okay.
But then this girl is, the first 5 minutes, this girl is completely bare-breasted, and she has one of the most obvious, not good boob jobs. And I'm like, I can't watch the rest of this film, man. Like, you couldn't find, I mean, granted, I don't think that's the greatest way to start a film with the whole sex naked thing on a Richard the Lionheart film. But if you're going to do that, couldn't you have found one woman augmented, like, big breasts? I was like, man, you just more, man. Yeah, I love that guy. And I felt bad that but it really took me out of the film.
It's tough. I mean, because we want that illusion and we want to keep them in it. And it's hard enough just without things that stand out that are so blatantly not period or not real.
Yeah, it's just, and there's simple things that you think you could fix, or make different choices. But now let's go back to Bruce. Bruce, what is a current project you are saddling right now? Your passion and a fervor.
Well, we've got several going. We've got one called Violent Delights that follows the Eagle of Death concert in France before the massacre, and follows the terrorists and the opening act. Under the theory, the opening act was invited to perform. They were given tickets and airfare, and of course, they were sitting in the front row when the terrorists started shooting, so that opening act was massacred. So we've got that one floating. I've got one called Absurdist, which deals with a crazy director who, despite hurricanes and terrorist attacks, keeps pushing.
Absurdist? Is that what you said?
Yeah, who keeps pushing the crew to make the movie. God, there's just a slew of them floating around right now. You know, the problem with us not shooting is now I have to stack which one goes when.
Yeah, I've already talked to a lot of people in the industry, and everyone's like, as soon as this ends, it's going to be chaotic nutball.
Yeah, I have an agent who just placed something for me concerning Chippendales, and it looks like everything wants to happen immediately, but a lot of it's going to be a year or two. I mean, I can't put it all together that quickly. But
and people don't get, there's only so much skilled crew around.
There's only so many sound stages. There's so much everything.
Yeah, and people think it's just endless. It's not. For the amount of productions nowadays with Netflix and cable and TV and films and all that stuff, there's only so much because they all want highly skilled crew. So there's only so much highly skilled crew they can put their hands on at one time. And like you said, stages, access to equipment, all that kind of stuff, man. So, I get you. You know, my dream will be to get you involved in one of my films, Bruce.
Well, it may well happen with Angela. We will see.
Yeah, I'll talk to her tomorrow.
But I've got so many films that are in pre-production. I just finished a documentary that was put on by two of the guys who were the honor guards at Arlington. It's a 4-part series narrated by Sam Elliott. That's getting a lot of traction on some of the cables and on Netflix.
Who doesn't love Sam Elliott? The guy has got the best voice ever created by God.
Well, when we hired him, he hadn't been nominated for Star is Born, so we got very lucky. And I believe he's also listed, narrator.
And if you ask my mom or anyone her age, he is the sexiest man that ever existed.
Her age? Does that mean your mom is my age? Is that what you're really trying to tell me?
No, I mean, even women, if a woman knows who Sam Elliott is and you say, hey, Sam Elliott, and they get who he is, their response is always the same.
Well, it's Lifeguard was his original movie. Million.
What now?
Lifeguard.
Yeah, I remember that. Way back when. His little red shorts.
Yeah. So that was his original movie. But so I've got that one going on. And then I've got another documentary that basically a bunch of former Delta guys chasing perverts who want to hire young women for sex. So they use decoys and military armaments. It's kind of a really interesting take on To Catch a Perv.
Yeah,
Like,
Catch a Predator. I was about to say
Catch a Predator, yeah. And I mean, there's just so much.
I don't know if it would be too marketable to say To Catch a Perv and call that a TV show.
and then I've got a host of clients who are in post-production right now. So,
Well, I think the key is that everyone's going to be so hungry for content. It's a great time for indie filmmakers, which is what I tell to these young filmmakers. I'm like, it is a great time in couple years for indie filmmakers. If you can get quality content shot, I guarantee you're going to have a much easier time when this is finding a buyer than you would have beforehand.
well, there's a lot of content buyers out there, more than there's ever been before.
Yeah.
The streamers and all these little cable things. I've got a friend who's on God Friended Me, and she also is on a show called Family Business with Ernie Hudson, named Javicia Wesley. And BET just started a premium channel. And that's going to be one of the shows that are featured there. So, I mean, everybody's got a channel. Disney's got a channel.
Well, and it's getting down to that where, like, I think it's almost permanently hurt theaters, this virus.
Well,
people that normally didn't think about streaming the films they watched have been forced to do so.
Well, I heard that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I heard that AMC is considering filing bankruptcy. They don't know if they'll ever reopen.
I mean, it was already, to be honest with you, it was already headed in that direction. I just think this fast forwarded it.
Well, I think that your motion pictures are going to be events and experiences like IPEC or some of these dinner houses. We've got studios.
I think those will be valid, and I think those will flourish. The little idiosyncratic dinner house theaters or the big giant main theaters that people want to go see it. I just don't think you'll see it as prolific where there was like a theater on every other like block. You know what I mean? Like every city had like 15 different theaters to.
Right. But you've got one, I think they're called Brew House, Studio Brew House, and a few others that do more gourmet meals and beer.
Yeah, and you could drink and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I ever experienced that was back in 94. I had just moved from Hawaii to Eugene, Oregon. And there was a place that and I'd never seen anything like that because I'm from Southern Cal. They didn't have things like that. But there was a movie theater where you could drink, you could smoke, you could everything. And there was no seats. There was just a bunch of high top tables that you sat at, drank, got drunk, smoked cigarettes, ate food, what the hell you wanted. And I was next to the college in Eugene, Oregon. And I was like, wow, what a concept. That's a concept. Obviously before they banned smoking from inside of places and all that kind of stuff. But
I think that these restaurant-y studios are going to be events. Right now, the way it was sitting, it's $15, $16 a head to get in. You take your 2 kids, you take your wife, you buy popcorn, you spend $100. You don't take your kids, you have a babysitter that costs you $50. So I think they're going to have to be events.
I think for big, huge films that are like, that Star Wars when it first came out.
Right. Yeah. I think that the majority, we're not able to really make. See, I've got a passion for what used to be the under 20 drama, $20 million dramas. The stories, the slice of life stories. And you can't get those made right now. You either got to go streaming, which is much lower budget, or you got to do a blockbuster film. But I mean, I gave you like People Like Us. I can give you a dozen slice of life.
Well, I think you can
Can't
do.
pay
I
you
think
money.
you can do both. I mean, it's what I'm trying to do with Blade and Blood, where we're wanting to spend, I don't know, about $1 million or around that, maybe depending on what
Yeah.
act.
But you're in the right area. Try doing.
But we're doing, but it's got a blockbuster concept. You know, what I mean? It's got a
Right.
franchise type concept.
Yeah, but that's my point. If you do it for $1 million, you can make money. You do it for 20 million, you can't. See,
Yeah, and I don't. But I think I believe me, from sitting in the, when you're stand-in, you're literally involved with the producers. You're involved with everybody. And when you're the main stand-in for the main actor, it's not a waste of money on a set in Hollywood is like insane. Like it is insane. The amount.
well, I feed 200 people at $22 a day.
Yeah, I
Just by itself.
just the amount of, I mean, the sheer amount of waste and you know, whether it be producers capping off the top or whatever it is, man. I mean, the sheer amount of waste. I think that was that John Carter, which ended up getting the guy resigning from Disney.
Well,
He spent something like $300 million on it. I'm like, what the?
well, who would spend $175 million in Irishman?
Yeah, I mean, but where are you spending that money? Are you
Yeah.
limo everywhere you're going? Are you feeding the whole crew lobster? I mean, I don't know where.
Well, just watch out for Netflix. They're not doing so good either.
Yeah, I mean, my focus is making a film. I rely on maybe you or Angela or other people to make the business side.
Well, but Netflix owes almost $18 billion in junk bonds. Almost $35 million, $1 billion is owed to content providers. When you sell something to Netflix, you don't get all cash today. They're paying you over years. Those are contingent liabilities that company can't absorb.
Yeah, why would someone do that? Just because they're desperate or what?
Well, this is the deals that people have been making. So the people who buy my paper, my contracts, are giving you 60, 70 cents on the dollar for Netflix paper. I can go with Paramount's paper, they'll give me 80, 90 cents. So that's kind of where people are thinking Netflix is. They owe a gob of money. When you spend $175 million to make Irishman and you did not get one new subscriber, that's an awful lot of
Now,
money.
that to me was, you should have never spent that, because when I watched that film, it was basically an ode to his career. That's what he did with that film and the way he wrote it.
Well, but my point is, how are you going to recover from that 100? How many new?
Yeah, but I
members
mean, to
do
me,
you have to get?
he didn't write it as a blockbuster or one that's going to make billions of dollars. I mean, he wrote it as an ode to those actors that he's worked with all of his career. And
Well, yeah, but Netflix still spent 175 million.
why though? For what? How much did he pay those actors?
Beats me.
There's no way that film, it didn't have that much shooting.
I think it had to do with the special effects, the aging special effects.
Which weren't the greatest to begin with, dude. Like, I don't know. See, this is what I'm talking about in film. I always say respect, and I talk to young filmmakers who are maybe getting their grandfather or whatever to give them money for their short film, or someone that they know to give them money for their little $2,000 short film. I'm like, respect that money. Respect the investors that gave you the money. Respect like it's your own money. Like,
Well, there are some really wonderful young directors doing some great shorts. I judge 4 or 5 film festivals each year, which are mostly shorts. And there's some really good stuff. Catalina Film Festival just here off of Long Beach on the island of Catalina.
Santa Catalina.
Yeah, there's Toronto. I just did one in Australia. There's some great shorts out there.
Well, it's a great way for filmmakers to get their chops.
Well, there's some wonderful directors. There's a gal, I'm going to toot her horn. Her name's Teo Amos. People should go look at Blossom in the Night, which was a brilliant short. Star Victoria did one called La Ruita, which is about migrants on the thing. But that's where the art is now. It's
Well,
not
and
in
that's
that
why, I mean, that's where I
$175
started.
million.
It's usually where you have to start.
But that what I'm saying is they're doing a lot of really good work there.
Yeah, there is. But I always say still respect your, most of my shorts I shot for like $700-800.
Well,
So,
these guys, their budgets are much higher because they're SC or Chapman or whatever. But they're really good films in the 15 or 17 minutes, and
well,
they have
I
a lot
also
of
always
stunt work
say,
too. Ian.
write your short like it's a snippet of something bigger. So that when say an investor or someone else gets their eyes on it, they see something more there.
Well, I used to look at Blossom in the Night because it had a lot of stunts. It's an apocalyptic period where people are back fighting with spears and sticks.
Excellent.
And it was really well choreographed. So that's my tout for Tile. Blossoms in the Night. I don't know where you get it, where you see it, but look for it. Good.
I'll Google it, and then Mark can put that up there. Blossoms in the Night.
Tile Amos. Really good.
Ian, okay, so let's go to you. What is a current project you're working on that you're passionate about?
Well, I mean, of course, with the shutdown, the way things are, everything's kind of on hold. But we're in the middle of.
That's not true because I know something you're currently working on because you keep.
That's what I mean, though. We started something called Maverick and Grundy, and I was on that, and then we've shut down production for the meantime because.
That's not what I'm referencing, though.
Which one then?
You just even asked what script writing software you should use.
Well, I'm writing. That's. I look at that as the future, though. So yes, kind of. I was saying.
No, but you're currently working on it.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that we all understand that it's a different age than it was 20 years ago, and so many of us, the best opportunity is one we give ourselves. So I did that Dob Simmons web school.
So let's clarify. Ian is trying his hand at writing.
Cool.
Yeah, it's finally time. I've been putting it off, and then since we're basically on shutdown, I thought I might as well use this time productively. So I went through and did a one of these study at home film schools, which, hey, do what you can. And actually I learned a lot. A lot of the questions that I've had or I didn't even know that I had, and I just learned a lot. And I decided, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and try this writing thing. And I tell you what, I basically have been writing for 10, 12 hours now, over yesterday and today. I did my treatment. I went through and put my shot sequence together, which took a week or so to get that the way I wanted it. And then, so basically 10 hours or so I've been writing, and I'm on, 30 pages in at this point. And I'm really enjoying it.
The best advice I can give you, man, is I've been writing for 3 decades. And when I first started writing, 1990, cantankerous old man told me, you want to write a lot, read a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was his big, but you know what? Out of all 3 decades of doing it, that's the biggest pearl of wisdom I can. It's like anything else. You want to do martial arts, do martial arts a lot.
Yep, and that's the thing.
You want to write a lot, read a lot, and reading a lot is key. If you want to be a writer, you better like reading.
Yeah, and I do tend to read. There's certain kinds of books I like to read, but for this particular project, I mean, everybody knows Save the Cat, I'm sure, and. So I'm like, you know what? Let me read that. I read that, and I've gleaned a number of ideas from there. And I thought, let me just write this. And
you might check out a Facebook page called LA TV Writers.
LA TV Writers, sure.
Yeah, most of the people on there are professional writers, showrunners, and stuff, and they're always linking to free programs, free classes. A guy named Bruce Gordon is brilliant. There, I'll shout out to Bruce Gordon.
Excellent.
It's one of those Facebook groups, the free groups you can join.
Sure.
Bruce is the guy. If he gives you advice, I would take it, man. He's pretty.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, it's just doing, man. I mean, and then remember to also keep your characters' voices unique. So you know, a lot of people have prevalence of every character starting to sound like the same person.
Yeah, that's something that I'm trying to build into it, where everybody does have a unique voice. But look, I also understand that this isn't going to be, Gone with the Wind, my first script. It's going to take some time, but I need to get this person under my belt.
Well, and your orientation is martial arts, so it's not. You're obviously going to probably write an action, I'm assuming. So,
right.
Yeah.
because that's
Although
something
you
I
can, I am a big believer in that you can make a script that is action, but also has amazing story and character development.
Well, and I should clarify as well. This is something that you may not know about me, but my background is actually from theater. So I was a stage actor for years and did that. I mean, I've performed Shakespeare. I was Stanley in Streetcar Named Desire and 2-Year
No, I
Miser.
saw it in your monologue.
So I do some of that. I do some of that here. So
No, I can always tell from a directing standpoint, I can always tell when a stage actor is auditioning.
Yes.
You
You
can
can
over
always-
auditions.
yeah,
When you
but
agree, Bruce?
I said, yes. I can
Yes.
tell the difference right away.
Yeah, immediately. Like, and believe me, I've watched hundreds of auditions on my films, man.
So many stage actors have to be reminded that they're working on a sound stage, not in a crowd of hundreds where they have.
yeah. And there's a mic right in front of them.
It's a whole lot different from what the actor friends might.
Yeah, but it's easier to tone down than it is to build up. So,
Well,
yeah, that's kind of the consensus from what I hear. It's easier to take.
Well,
a
they
theater
tend to
actor-
over exaggerate, man. So they tend to over exaggerate everything because they're used to having to make people understand the emotions they're doing 100 feet from them in the back row.
Yep.
So that's what they do.
Yes.
But anyway, okay, so let's go on to Bruce. What is the most exciting future project coming up that you're in?
the most exciting what project?
Future.
Got all these.
So I want you
babies.
to focus and think about the future girlfriend you envision.
Well, I'm really excited about a film called Garbo.
Garble?
Garbo. It's not the actress Garbo. There was a spy during World War II who was a double agent for both the Germans and the British. He won the Iron Cross from Adolf Hitler, and he won the big medal from the Queen of England. Turned out he was a double agent working for the British, but he sure convinced the Germans so much that they gave him a medal. And I think that's going to be a thrilling movie for him.
That is, because that's just like, who does he really work for would be the question.
And he was a Spanish fellow, so I don't know.
I don't know. So maybe there was a third country in there somewhere saying like,
Yeah.
screw both of them.
Then we have one called Yahoo Boys, which is dealing with remember all those scam letters you get from Nigeria?
Yeah.
Well,
It's not, I mean, hey, dude, it's still, and they haven't changed their script in like 30 years, 20 years.
yeah, but we're doing the movie from their point of view.
Like literally, I'll still get those. And I'm like, dude, you guys, like, you haven't changed the script in like 2 decades. And
Sure,
like,
but we're bringing the camera into their boiler house. Boiler room. So that should be a fun movie. I mean,
it is, because I don't know how you can paint them as any kind of positive thing.
Well, I think the concept is narcissism. When you think the world revolves around you and you can do anything to provide your needs, it's okay to do whatever you have to do for someone else because you're important and they're not.
Yeah, but there's always karma, man. I mean, karma's a bitch.
Yeah, I know, but these guys, anyway, this is the movie.
Yeah.
You'll
I
have
mean,
to
it'll be interesting.
buy
It'll
a
be interesting.
ticket and see.
I've
how
always
it
wanted a button that could send a bomb back to those places, man. Like,
So I've got that one going. You know, there's always interesting ones. We just finished one called Rekindling Christmas. Oh, I've got to tell you guys, Saturday night on Lifetime Channel. God, I'm always pitching. On Lifetime Channel, there's something called the Clark Sisters, the women who basically created gospel music.
they
And
created what?
Gospel music.
Gospel music.
Yeah, and it was written by the head screenwriting professor Camille Tucker down at Biola University, and it was directed by a great lady named Christine Swanson, and it's free and it's 7:30 Saturday night or 7 o'clock Saturday night on Lifetime. That's a fun movie.
I'll try to check it out. Hey, Mark, have you gotten your lightsaber fixed yet?
Been too busy.
Oh my
working.
God, Mark. Mark is an acrobatic lightsaber wielder. That's why how he got the hosting job. I wasn't going to use him for a co, and he sent me a video of him doing a quadruple backflip, flinging lightsabers around. So I was like, oh my God, I got to have this guy.
Sounds like the guy in Iron Chef who does backflips. The cooking show.
Oh, very good. Okay, you guys, we're going to take a 5-minute break. Go get a drink, which is what I need to do. Go get a drink or go to the bathroom. And I'll take Lola out.
Back to the White Room we go, huh?
No, you're gonna stay on here. Don't shut down the connection. Because it's gonna take 5 minutes. He's gonna put our little Stormcrow emblem up, and then we'll be right back.
Okay.
You guys have been watching Stormcrow, Dreamers Talking to Dreamers, with amazing guests, with my co-host Mark Potter. We'll be back in 5 minutes to continue our scintillating conversation. Big love to you, and as always, keep dreaming your dreams. See you in 5. Say see you in 5, Lola. See you in 5.
Welcome back. Hello, JD.
Hey, can't see you. Oh, you have to tilt it up.
Yeah. Well, we were
Hey, I'll send your connections and info to Angela tomorrow.
yeah.
Tell her I would love it for you to be involved. Did you ever go to the website for it?
I don't remember. I mean,
bladeandblood.com.
Let's go find out right now.
I'm sending you the link right now on Facebook.
I got it. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, that has world history, city history, all the stuff leading up to the film. Has characters.
You know, there was a 2014 movie called Blade and Blood.
I have a short film. It's based on a short film of mine, that the one you're referencing.
Okay, that's what I'm looking at here then.
Yeah, my short film. Yeah.
So no, I'm looking at the preview too.
Oh yeah, and I think he has that linked on there. And then if you go in there, you can look at all the different roles. You can.
Yeah, minute 22 seconds. I see it. I'll keep it open.
Yeah, I had $700 to shoot that.
No problem. Good job.
And we had 2 nights of 6 hours each night to get it done. We were renting this guy's apartment, and then I remember the second night when we were shooting the second scene in the bedroom. We were supposed to have 6 hours, and after 2 hours, he shows up from the bar because we were shooting noir, so we shot at night. Shows up in the bar with a bunch of people and just kept bugging us every 5 minutes to get the fuck out. And we were like rushing through everything to try to get it shot.
I liked the artwork in the beginning of it.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm a very hands-on director, so my hands are a lot on the lights and the editing and all that.
This one's animation, pretty much.
I mean, the Blade and Blood. Is that what you're watching, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the beginning when they're moving around and people are with the knife and stuff.
Right. Look good.
Yeah, so I shot that short, and then people were like, and I did exactly what I suggested, like other people, when you shoot short, do it like it's part of something that's a story, a piece of a story, part of something much larger, so people can envision stuff. And so everyone kept hitting me up right after that came out saying, well, dude, I want to see what this guy's childhood was like that led him here, and I want to see him go kill 7 killers, which is what he vows at the end of the short.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I ended up writing the feature. And then we've been putting that together now for almost 3 years, probably. 3.5 years, maybe. But anyway, okay, are we back on, Mark? Put us back on our screen.
All right.
All right, so are we back? Is that a yes, Mark?
Yes, it's delayed right now.
Okay, so Ian, let's go back to you. What is a future project?
Well, I mean, like we talked about a little bit, of course, the script I'm writing now, I've decided I just want to, come hell or high water, get that produced by the end of this year. That's goal number one.
That would be very difficult to write a feature and get it produced the same
Not
year.
saying it's easy, not saying it's not going to count in my own pocket, but that's the goal. I tend to get things done one way or another. So we'll see. But the other two things that are kind of on my radar right now is there is a kind of like you were just talking about when we were off there, creating that short that's part of something larger. So there's a Western.
To me, it's always the way to go so that people can envision elicit interest in your work and the expound upon your further creation.
Yeah, so there is a Western that we're supposed to shoot in Spain, actually, that I have a nice role in. And that's something that we're supposed to be getting together to do over the summer. But the travel plans, who knows what's going to happen with that time-wise.
Well, yeah, I love Westerns.
Good news, Ian. We did a movie last year called Badland.
Yeah.
Jennifer Ambrose. It was her first producing picture with Kevin McAvoy. It's number 5 on Netflix.
Wow.
Hey, I love Westerns. I have a Western feature called Lonesome Hill I want to do.
You guys should check out Badland.
Badland?
Yeah, I was very proud of Kevin and Sean and Jennifer, the producers on that movie. It was a great movie. It's got
I have to check it out for sure.
You know,
Wait, what is it called?
Badland.
Badland.
Badland. It stars Kevin McAvoy.
I think I might have seen it though.
Kevin McAvoy, Bruce Dern, and Mia Sorvino.
Because I saw one about a year ago that was a Western. And I think Bruce Dern was in it, but
well, he's in them all. He's in Mustang also right now. That's out. But this was a new one. It's doing very well on Netflix, and it was shot in Santa Clarita.
Excellent. Cool. So yeah, that's cool. I'm looking forward to doing a Western. And then the other one that should be going soon is a project with Dell, which, you know, I've read the script, I started working on it, and then everything got put on hold with what we're doing.
Hey, just have faith, man. Just keep doing you. Keep doing you. I've seen your monologues. You have some acting chops.
Thank you.
And plus have the martial arts in it. You're going to get where you're going, man. Just keep pushing.
Send me your stuff.
I will do that. Yeah, I'll send you my link and whatever else I can send to you that you'd like to check out for sure. Be happy.
Whatever you got, I'll look at everything.
I'll send everything then.
I'm in quarantine, man. I'm 66 years old with bad lungs. I am the target for COVID.
Yeah, we got to keep.
No,
you
I'm
healthy.
right there with you though, Bruce. 50-year-old smoker, so I pretty much been sticking inside mostly. But
Back when I was a younger man, I fought forest fires.
That
here
takes a
in
toll on the
California.
lungs.
Yeah, it did.
yeah, the fire is not good. Yes, I've dealt with one. That was enough, I think.
Well, I dealt with hundreds of them in the 5 years I was doing it. So, in any event, I'm staying home, so there's plenty of time to read and look at stuff.
Sure, I'll be happy.
You're looking at my office. This nice lazy boy.
That's the best kind right there. If you can recline.
Hey, my mom gave me one too. I'm sitting in one.
Recline, man. I could do it electronically, Ian.
Hey, there you go.
You can see no hands.
You don't even have to push. It just happens, huh? That's perfect.
Okay, so you guys, this is the thing I talked about earlier. I had already done mine. Marty B's. If you're in the Bartonville area, go order to-go food from them. Help them stay in business and do their thing. Each of you, let's start with Ian. Name a restaurant you love that's near you that's still doing to-go food that people can check out.
Portofino is up on Montana Avenue. A good martial arts friend of mine owns that restaurant. And as far as I know, they're still doing the carry out. And I mean, great food. It's one of those places.
What city is it in?
It's in Santa Monica on Montana.
Santa Monica, California, and it's called Portofino's.
Portofino, yeah. I'll put a link in underneath here with their information. Good dude that runs that.
Very
place.
good. We got to help where we can, man.
Yep.
And what about you, Bruce? What's the restaurant you like?
I'm going to shout out the original Farmers Market on 3rd and Fairfax. There's like 100 restaurants in there, and they're all struggling with takeout, and several weren't successful at takeout, and they closed, and who knows if they'll ever come back. Pampas, McGee's, and all the others, and like half of them are dark now. It's sad. This place has been around since the 1930s. You know, just
Yeah,
south,
it
right
is.
next to
And it's,
CBS, and those restaurants in there. You know, if you're local to Mid-City here or Fairfax District or Beverly Grove, think about them too. I mean, the tourists aren't there, which is why none of us ever go. But there are no tourists now, and you know, patronize this landmark.
yeah, very much, you guys. That was my. We're gonna try to do that on every show upcoming, and then we're gonna try. We've been down to about once a month. I'm gonna try to maybe do one during this time, maybe one every 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And so we can provide those people at home a little more content to kind of meet new and amazing artists and act. The thing I love most about this show, which is bringing guests that don't know each other of a brilliant spirit together. And there's been, I think we're at episode 32, 33, something like that. But they have made connections. I see several guests that stay connected to each other after this. A few of them that have put in each other in each other's projects or just become really good friends. And to me, that's one of the most beautiful things about doing a show like this.
Well, Ian's going to send me his stuff, so maybe you made another marriage.
There you go. It's always good, man.
It's a business.
I want everyone to succeed. I want everyone to succeed. So I hated when I was in Hollywood and you saw a lot of people that always looked at everybody as competition.
Well, you know,
they were not helping each other out.
Actors do that, and I don't understand. It's as if they get jealous when their best friend gets a job.
But it just tells me they're insecure in their own talent.
But they would never even qualify for the job.
If you don't get it, it's not right for you. That's all there is to it.
Well, and I think a lot of these people are insecure in their own ability and talent, so they look at everybody as competition. Mm-hmm. And what I can do, so I don't look at anybody as competition. I just want to see them succeed and do their dreams and their aspirations and fulfillment. You know what I mean? So I don't know about, now, granted, that doesn't mean, because I've had it happen, no-namer, people I don't even know, all of a sudden throw their script at me and say, "Oh, can you get Spielberg on this?" That doesn't mean that. Okay, you guys still have to. I'm still a big believer in earning parents, putting the work in, and earning opportunities and accolades. I don't think it helps you as a person at all if you just get handed something.
Well, and the thing about that, if it's handed to you, you're not ready for it, and then the wheels fall off the bus. I mean,
Well,
you have to build up to that point, and that's what you're saying, earning that credit, earning that trust.
you know,
So when you get it, you're ready.
I hear that argument. In the mid 70s, I was Jane Fonda's driver, her production assistant. And the number of people who told me, well, she only got that because she was Henry Fonda's daughter, said Hank Fonda didn't get her 2 Academy Awards. She had to get them on her own.
Well, and she made a big thing of doing the opposite types of films that her dad would want her to do. So,
No, but I mean, just the way they were saying, well, it was all handed to her. You know, you see stuff all the time. Angie Jolie came up her own way.
she did with Gia. Yeah.
Right, and Voight put her in some early stuff, but not a lot of way.
No, I mean, and there are examples of what people are talking about. I remember working on, I forget what it was called, when I first moved to LA. I did some background, and they kept asking me back for it, the casting director. And I was on it like 4 or 5 times, always as like a different person, a professor, then a lawyer, whatever the hell it was. But it's about college kids. And the lead actress, every single time I was there maybe like 5 times, and then it got canceled or whatever. But every time the lead actress was just not a nice person to whatever. If you've been in TV, there's almost a different director every time you go. Every
Yes.
episode is like not always, but a lot of times.
Most of the time.
Yeah. So she was always just super rude, and it didn't matter every time I was there. And I'm like, am I just? So I asked Drew like the last time, I'm like, am I just hitting her on bad days? I mean, because I'm only on this every 2 or 3 weeks.
Question for you.
Every time I've been on here, she's been like rude as hell to everyone around her. And they're like, well, don't you know who that is? And I'm like, no, because it was no one I recognized at all. It was probably, she was maybe late 20s playing a 22-year-old. And it was Kelsey Grammer's daughter, and Kelsey Grammer produced the whole film for her.
Well, there you are.
But here's a question. Here's a question for you. What's she doing now? Is she
Nothing.
still
I
active?
haven't heard about her since then.
Well, that's what I'm saying is you can get them their first job.
Yep.
Go back to Jane Fonda. Her repetitious success was not Henry; it had to be her.
No, no one.
No one says only the first door open. Maybe dad or mom can help out, but you know, there's a lot of stars out there that are children. Mia Sorvino, I mentioned, Paul Sorvino's daughter. Maybe he got her the first gig, but she got the Oscar on her own.
Mhm.
She's passed though, didn't she?
I'm sorry?
Didn't she die?
No, I hope not. She was alive at our PR thing about 2 weeks ago.
Who am I thinking
Paul-
of?
her dad died.
No, who am I thinking of? The actress, the young actress that was amazing, and then she OD'd. Oh my God, I can't remember.
I'm sure there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, it made me sad. I forget her name though, man. Oh my God, it's slipping my head right now. But anyway, no, and I still think it always comes down to earning. Like Bruce said, they can give you that opportunity, but it doesn't matter who your parents are. A producer wants to make money. So if you suck, you suck.
Where I find the sucky people are in the crew. They are children of producers, children of directors.
Yeah, I know.
And they don't belong there ever.
No, and you know, it reminds me. Remember that thing at Sally Fields I mentioned earlier, Brothers and Sisters. I remember once being on location with them, and I'm going up the elevator, and there's these 2 skater-looking kids, maybe like 21, and they start trying to chat me up. And I'm like, what do you guys do here? Because I had seen them wandering around before. They're like, oh, we're some of the writers. And I'm like, writers? You're like 20, 21. I'm like, and they're like, oh, but don't worry, we don't really write anything. Our dad's the producer. He just put us in there to like cut us a check and try to give us resume.
Well, it happens a lot in the below the lines, even more so than in the acting business.
Yeah, I know. I was on sets all the time. You get
Yeah,
but a lot of those guys took, especially if you're talking like union guys and their kids. A lot of those guys were cut no slack. They might have been given that opportunity, but like if their grips or their dad has such a big reputation or whatever that people expect a lot out of them, and if they don't live up to it, they're cut out pretty quick, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said filmmaking is a team sport. So literally, you are as great as your weakest link. So literally, you need to like make sure your team is strong. Otherwise, it'll mess with your end product.
Well, I've been doing this since '76. I've seen it all, I think.
I was 5 at that time, Bruce.
Were you?
Yes. I was preparing my spirit to fairly soon watch Star Wars.
In '76 is when we opened Chippendale.
Oh yeah, I think '77 was when Star Wars came out, wasn't it? '77.
Yeah, I went to see Star Wars the night before I took the bar exam.
Really? I went. I know now what my parents were doing, but at the time I didn't. My mom and dad had pulled the pickup truck for me and my sister back and forward, and we watched it twice. And then only in like later years did I realize what were my parents doing the entire time up front. Like looking away from the theater. But I remember drive-ins when they actually existed.
Yes.
Hey, that may come back.
I don't know. Yeah, they might.
There's a beautiful one in Paramount, California. I go out there once in a while.
I haven't been to one since back then. I was in Orange County, and I think they had one in Fountain Valley we would go to, and then eventually closed down.
Well, the one in Paramount's still there, and it's alive and well, but what's neat is instead of those speakers hanging on the window, it comes through your stereo.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
I remember those big clunky things you put on the...
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Shows you how dated I am.
Yeah, no, I used to get a kick out of that when I was a kid, man.
When I was at Fairfax High, there was a drive-in at what's now the Grove. And the Fairfax kids used to go to that.
Oh my God, I had to work at, I've only been there once, and I had to do paid background for that Lopez talk show, E! Entertainment.
Oh yeah, they were at the Grove, yeah.
Yeah, they shoot there. They shoot there all the time.
Extra.
Yeah. What I did for a living, standing in extra when I was in LA for like 8 years.
You were an extra on extra. That's unique.
Yeah, but that was like the horrible gig. They wanted me to come back. I said no, never again. You just stood there for literally like acting like you're interested in what Mario Lopez or whatever said for hours on end, man. I was like, oh my God, dude.
That's brutal.
Picky people though, like a lot of people would be like taking whatever they could get. I was like, if I went to a show and I didn't like it, I said, don't ever book me there again. I used to piss off my, because background have call-in agents, whatever.
You have calling services.
Yeah, and I always would tell them if I don't want to go back to that show, and they'd always get mad at me, but I'd be like, whatever, man, it's my life. I'm the captain of my ship, dude. I don't want to go back to that show, man. I think with Grey's Anatomy, because they were literally, I was union and they were always trying to bring me on non-union, and I was like, dude, it's not. And you sat around forever on that set. They always have background, and using background for like one scene at the end of the day, and they would bring them in at like 10 a.m. and you'd be there till 7 or 8 at night to like do a one scene, and the rest of the time you sat in holding the entire time. And I'm like, I'm a big believer in respecting energy, and even when I've used background, if I do in the future, I'm always bring them in when I know I'm going to need them. I'm not going to make people sit around for 12 hours just because for my convenience.
Surely.
I mean, what do you think, Bruce? I'm a big believer. I like I've been on 4 Eastwood films, and I'm a big believer in how he runs film sets, where he's big, everybody being respected, every single person, doesn't matter the position.
Yeah, I know him as well. I know he has a habit of telling the actors to just start acting when they're ready, less yelling at them, less screaming. He only takes 2 takes.
No, I know. He always does this because I've been on. He just looks and goes, no action, no none of that. First AD doesn't get involved. He sits usually right behind camera with his little monitor, portable monitor, and he'll just go, And then whenever he feels like they're done, he'll go, okay, great. Let's do the next thing.
Yeah, and he takes 2 takes and moves on.
Yeah, but I'm the same way. I think you get the best, as long as they know their dialogue, I think you get the best performances out of actors within the first 2 or 3 takes. After that, you're burning energy and it's going to start losing its.
Well, the other side is Scorsese, who we talked about earlier with Irishman. He'll say, try it tired, try it light, try it laughing, try it angry, because he doesn't really know what he wants. He's not really.
See, I always know exactly where I want. But you got Fincher, who thinks it's the opposite. He thinks every scene he does 30 takes because he doesn't think you get real acting until the actor's exhausted from going over the lines and everything like that. I'm like, the crew must hate that guy. Like, can you imagine through every scene taking 30 takes, and that's not even counting your different angles and your different.
Well, you know, from the other side of the coin, they're getting a job, aren't they? They're there.
That is true. That is true.
They can always go home and not work.
That is true. I remember, there's an old story a crew guy told me about Burns. Remember Burns, Scar, God movies, God TV show movies?
Yeah, George Burns.
George Burns. Okay. Well, he was doing another one of those movies, and it was a new director that they were trying out. It was like the third God movie or whatever it was. And they were doing a scene at the end of the day, and he had to just get out of his car, walk to the door, knock on the door to see if the girl's there. That was it. And like 10 takes in, Burns just does it one last time and just walks away and starts heading towards the trailer. Like, no, I want to do it like blah, blah, blah. He goes, come on, man, we can turn it in. And I guess Burns turned around and said, I'm George Burns. Perfect. And I kept walking straight back to the trailer. He was like, I'm done.
How funny.
I don't know, man. I know what I've learned in a lesson, though, is you cannot always, especially in short films, you don't always have monitors. You don't always have headphones. And you're relying on your sound guy to make sure the sound is good. You're relying on camera guys to make sure they're getting what they're supposed to be getting. And I have made the mistake of doing what I normally do and do 2 or 3 takes. I got a great acting performance when I should have done at least one more take because there was technical difficulty and I didn't find out until post. And because I did only 1 or 2 takes on a lot of it, I ended up having nothing.
Well, that's why they do so many. They want the coverage they're talking about.
Yeah, to make sure that they get a good take, as opposed to, because I mean, the acting was good take, but like one of them, you know, there was no sound. The last thing we did with Mark, the whole back half of the whole thing, the sound was gone. There was the boom mic working, and he didn't say anything, and we found out in post. So we had a big hater of ADR, and we had to go into ADR, which is never a good idea in my opinion, but I hear you. Okay, so what is your? I'll stylize this towards as individuals. Bruce, what would be the perfect movie to you to work on?
A great drama with fantastic actors and a hot crew that can just put together that perfect slice of life movie that can win the Academy Award.
So that's what you like, drama and dramatic kind of character studies.
Yeah, it's the stuff that kind of we've lost them. You know, we've gone to the blockbusters and stuff these days, and most of these slice of life movies, what used to be the $20 million movies, are now the $1 million movies or less. And you got to go look for things like The Story of Marriage, Two Popes, things like that. They're delightful movies. There was a beautiful gem, that's a bad word, that Adam Sandler did called Uncut Gem. That was wonderful.
I haven't seen it yet.
These slice of life movies are where I want to be, with really talented, intense actors, telling a great story, not heavy at all in effects the story be the effects. Anyway, that's where I'm at.
Very cool. And then, Ian, what would be your dream film to do?
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with Bruce there. I mean, it would be nice to do something other than just punching people in the face. So, you know, something where you really get to, or really would get to,
Stretch your acting.
really, yeah, test my chops and really.
Well, yeah, those $20 million movies are all about the acting.
Mm-hmm. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think having some fighting and stuff in there is cool, but it would be great to be part of a project that's part
That
of
was
it.
just great
That's
writing.
but that's not the main thing. It just so happens that that's part of it, but it's not just about that.
It's not a martial art action film.
Yeah, and I mean,
But again, I am a big believer, even though most filmmakers or studios that make these don't tend to think this way. But I am a big believer that you can do an action-oriented, effect-oriented type film, but with great character development, character study, great writing, great story. I mean, that's what we're going to try to do in Blade and Blood. I think you can do both.
That's the goal.
It doesn't happen very often.
Right.
They usually tend to be like less writing, let's not worry about writing, and let's throw well-known actors with big explosions and effects and.
Right.
Right. Those are the ones I don't care for working on.
Yeah, and to me, I'm a big believer that I come from a writing background, so even though I love action and I love sci-fi, if it's not great writing, if it's not great characters in depth and hit you hard in a raw type way as far as the writing and emotions, to me, I don't know. I mean, that's what I try to do when I'm creating a film is I love action, but it's still got to be raw and ugly and beautiful, and all of those things need to be in there as well, man. So,
well, I mean, we're rounded individuals. We're not just I want to go out and kick everybody's ass. Everybody wants.
Well,
to
I think the first Star Wars film was kind of like that. That's why it resonated. I think it resonated so well because it wasn't just let's throw a bunch of laser blips. It was the development of relationships and characters, and you care about the character.
Right.
Right. Well, that's the stories I like. Yeah.
What now?
I said that's the kind of stories I like being made.
Yeah, I mean, like they used to do it. Now it became easier just to go. For some reason, a lot of studios think writers should be the last one paid, and you shouldn't pay them very much. And they have a lot of like studio type hack writers that they just throw on stuff, and let's save all our money for big name actors and all of those things. And I think that's a horrible business practice and
well, I mean,
formula. But
you know, take a look at Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
You're cutting out though, man. Mark, what'd you say?
I said take a look at what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni did with the Clone Wars, Rebels, and Mandalorian.
Talking about an animated TV
yes,
series.
the animated Clone Wars, the Rebels, and then the Mandalorian.
Well, the Mandalorian I love because whoever made that is a big fan of Leone, and Sergio Leone is one of my inspirations as far as a filmmaker goes.
It's
guys are heavily influenced. You could tell that like the Mandalorian was like the good and bad and ugly of Star Wars. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. The way they shot it, the way they wrote the dialogue, the way
the new Star Wars
influenced by Leone. You know, I mean, those are my inspirations. Leone, Tarantino, Rodriguez, Terry Gilliam, some not all, but some of Lynch's work, Del Toro, that have great action, great, tremendous blockbuster type appeal, but also have great writing and great.
Yeah, but I don't know that Shape of Water is the swipe movie that I would give accolades to. Talking about Del Toro.
Well, a lot of people say, I mean, I love Del Toro's stuff. Shape of Water, I've struggled with a little bit trying to get that stuff. A lot of people said he won the director's Oscar, though, more as a nod towards Pan's Labyrinth. which he should have won for that, but he was the new kid on the block, and they Oscar class in noir lighting is a master class in a lot of ways. What did you think of Pan's Labyrinth?
So long ago, I liked it, but it was premature for him. He was a beginner.
It was, but I mean, to me, I love noir lighting, and so the lighting in that film was amazing. The other one, cinematography-wise, I thought was brilliant was Legends of the Fall.
Yes.
I still get teary-eyed every time at that end scene when Hopkins comes out all gimped up. My son! You remember that scene?
Yes.
Yeah, I always get teary-eyed, man. Did you ever? Have you seen that film, Ian?
I'm trying to remember it.
And Brad Pitt and
Yeah, I don't think I've seen.
I think it did win Oscar for best cinematography.
What year did it come out? Do you know?
Oh wow!
How long ago was that?
90s.
Okay, yeah, I don't think I saw it. It's got to go on my
Probably
list.
late 90s.
One more thing to put on the list.
It's a great film, man. It's great.
Yep.
It's like he's saying, it's a slice of life film of this family over decades. They go through what, World War II, and then World War One, and then Prohibition, and then like all this stuff. Great film, and it's also got Anthony Quinn in it.
I don't remember.
Yeah. But anyway, so what is, I'm going to do something I usually do after the break, but I hadn't done it yet. What is a great film you have watched in the last couple of years and why? And we'll start with Ian.
Hacksaw Ridge is one that I finally got around to watching.
Yeah, that's because that's a couple decades ago, isn't it?
I don't remember how long it's been out.
I think early 2000s, I think.
But,
no, you're talking about the Mel Gibson one.
Yeah, it's
the director, man, Mel Gibson directed it, right?
2016.
Fairly recent. Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking.
So it didn't last 4 years, but yeah, I finally got around to watching it. Within the last few months, and I mean that one was just powerful. And I'm really a big eye for an eye kind of guy. I'm not really that good at. I'm kind of Old Testament in that way. So to see someone. It was just powerful the way it reached out, with him being.
It was. You're talking about the medic. That was the guy that didn't like.
He wouldn't touch a gun, He just wouldn't do it, and I'm very much like, hey, you shoot me, I'm going to shoot you, So it was really something to see that and his commitment to that, and of course, it's just such an amazing story. I mean, it is, yeah. That was a great.
No, I like Mel Gibson and his choices as far as producing and directing. Bruce, what about you?
1917.
That was an interesting film.
The way they edited it made it seem like they shot in continuity. The sound effects, the lighting, made you just.
I think that was the whole thing on that film, though, was the stick of its, like that seeming continuous.
Right, but it made you feel like you were there. That's my point.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Although I was thrown off because by the promos, I thought I was about to watch a World War I film.
Well, you kind of did.
Really a World War I film. It's about one guy delivering a message. That's really.
Well, in the context of a World War I.
It is, but it's not a World War I film. Like Saving Private Ryan had similar context, but it was a lot of it was also about. The Vietnam War, or no, World War II.
But it's no different than all the anti-war movies that have existed in all this time. I mean, there's been dozens of these kind of movies that tell this story with war in the background, designed to be anti-war. I mean, from the early ones, Platoon and stuff like that on, and even before that, the Audie Murphy movies. So I mean, that's not so unusual to have an anti-war.
I thought it was a greatly made film. It was great acting, and I can see how it was probably right up your alley because it very much is a character study.
Yes,
it's about this guy and him having to deliver this message and deal with this horrific shit going around him. So I get that, and I get cinematography wise, it was amazingly shot.
Well, and that's kind of the stuff that I look for. You know, it's the stuff I love to have made.
Yeah. Very much so. Okay, guys, this has been amazing. About an hour and a half. You guys are two amazing spirits, two amazing souls. I'm very happy to have you on this show. Maybe in another 6 months, maybe we'll have you on again, see what you've done between now and then. But this has been awesome. Mark is normally much more talkative, but he's been very silent. Him and his wife did weed brownies right before they started, so he's been very out of it.
Well, this is California, the land of dispensaries.
I love Bruce's complete. You can tell Bruce has an insane sense of humor, but it's so stone faced. There's literally, besides the small little like crinklings of a smirk corners of his mouth, you'd be hard pressed to say whether he was telling a joke or not.
I kind of see myself in the vein of Larry Dave.
Yeah, that very much along those lines.
I kind of observe the mundane and think it's dumb. Although he's got $400 million, maybe it's not so dumb.
Yeah. Okay, you guys. So, and thank you for those people that are watching it now or have watched or are going to watch this in the future. Please do. It was a beautiful time, a lot of information.
All right.
And please support Bruce and Ian in both of their adventures.
Yeah, go watch Joan of Arc and go watch Clark Sisters.
All right. And then if for any of you that are not interested in that, I will be posting a video later of me in a sumo thong doing my special dance, but still.
I guess quarantine does things to everyone.
That's technically called a mawashi, just so you know.
Yeah. Okay. I like my sumo thong better, but no, I'm actually writing a short right now called Disco Speed Dating in a Sumo Thong.
I think that's a hit.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing.
Can't miss.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been amazing. It's been awesome. It's been beautiful spending time with.
Great talking with you, Mark.
It was
You're
great
really
talking to you as well.
Talkative guy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for
See
sharing.
what brownies do, Mark?
Huh?
See what brownies do to you?
Hey,
They bring you back into Fred Flintstone, man. I'm telling you.
You guys have a wonderful
Hey,
evening.
guys. Beautiful
Good to meet
blessings
you.
to my guests. Beautiful blessings to my co-host, Mark Parr, who can do the show without him. Beautiful blessings to little Lola. And then my name, of course, is JD Glasscock. You've been watching Stormcrow, Dreamers, talking to dreamers. As always, keep dreaming. Dream till the day you die. Love you. Blessings.
Good night, everyone.